saying that good morning, everyone, and welcome to the webinar on the IHI Call 10 on digital label, one source of comprehensive information for medical technology products. My name is Nesima, and I'm going to be your moderator today. Before we start, I just want to share with you some information about this webinar. So if we can move to the next slide. Just to tell you that we are recording this session and we will be publishing it on the IHI website. We will also publish the presentation slide on our website. The call will be officially launched shortly, and all the links and details of how to apply will be published on the IHI website and the funding and tenders portal. Another important information, if you have any question, you are welcome to send them anytime via the Q&A function on the bottom right of your screen. Just send them in to us and we will get to them at the end. So I will also add that we have a few people online. So we have Angelica, who is scientific officer for this topic, and she's going to kick off with the presentation. We also have Roger Peterson from Artrex, who is going to present the topic itself. And we have Desmond, who is our legal officer. So now I will hand over to Angelica.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Thank you for your attention for today. We are at the webinar of Call 10 on the topic 1 on digital label. So today we will cover an introduction of the IHI program. Then I will focus on the Call 10 topic 1. I will give the floor to Roger, who is the leader of the Pre-Identify Industry Consortium in charge of writing the topic text. Then I will present the proposal submission and evaluation process and tips for writing a successful proposal. I will not cover rule and procedures as a dedicated webinar is foreseen for this part. Regarding IHI is a EU partnership in health between the European Union, presented by the European Commission, and the healthcare industry associations, who are COSIR, focused on medical imaging, radiotherapy, health ICT, and the electromedical industries. Then EFPIA, including Vaccine Europe, focused on pharmaceutical and vaccine, Europa Bio, biotechnology industry, and MedTech Europe, medical technology industry. We have some general objectives in our work program. First of all, is to turn health, research, and innovation into real benefit for patients and society. Then deliver safe, effective health innovations that cover the entire spectrum of care, so from prevention to diagnosis and treatment, particularly in areas where there is an unmet public health need, and also to make Europe's health industries globally competitive. Our projects are created via open and competitive calls for proposal, as indeed is the call 10. And our projects are cross-sectorial and also public-private. The private contribution comes from industry partners, from the IHI Industry Association, as mentioned before, COSIR, EFPIA, Vaccine Europe, Europa Bio, and MedTech Europe. And if relevant and needed, contribution may come also from contributing partners, but this must be approved by the IHI Governing Board. The public funding comes from the European Commission under the Horizon Europe. Talking about our strategic research and innovation agenda, please consider that our main focus is the cross-sectoral approaches to facilitate creation of new products and services to prevent, intercept, diagnose, and treat and manage disease and foster recovery more efficiently. So you have to keep this in mind when you write your proposal. The goal is to lay foundation for the development of safer and more effective healthcare products or solutions that respond to unmet public health needs and that can be implemented into the healthcare systems. Keep in mind that research supported by the IHI should remain at the pre-competitive level. In case you want further information or read more on our research innovation agenda, here is the link. Regarding the process of our call, specifically on two stages call, as it is the call 10, the topic text is written by the industries, as mentioned before, and it is approved by the IHI Governing Board as part of our annual work program. Once the call is launched, the applicant, generally public applicants, like academics, hospital regulators, patient organization, or SMEs, they merge together to create the applicant consortium, and all together they need to write a short proposal that needs to be submitted by the call deadline of the stage 1 of the two stages call. After that, a panel of experts will assess all the proposals received and prepare a ranking list. Only the first one of this ranking list will be invited to the second stage, which means merge together with the pre-identified industry consortium to create the full consortium, writing the full proposal and submitted by the call deadline of the stage 2. After that, another set of experts, they will assess the proposal, so in this case, the full proposal. But differently from the first stage, we will not have a ranking list because there will be only one proposal, and we will have a go or no go decision. If the decision of the panel will be a go, the proposal will be invited to the granting phase. So they will be invited to sign the grant agreement with IHI and also to prepare and sign the consortium agreement, so the agreement between the partners. After that, there will be the project launch. I give the floor to Roger to present specifically the topic 1 on the digital label. Roger, do you want that I keep changing the slides for you, or do you want to share?
If you keep changing the slides, that'll be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining today and allowing me to present on this amazing topic, digital label, on behalf of IHI and the industry consortium. Next slide. All right. So the digital label is basically been comprised of one source of comprehensive information for medical technology products is the theme. The short description of the idea is in essence a form of e-labeling provided as an array of additional elements and topics supporting a medical technology product, which is additional to the critical information that's already provided on the printed label. The focus being medical device and IVDs. Access to this digital label is achieved, for example, through barcodes. Existing barcodes such as a 2D data matrix, QR codes, which provide a scannable functional link to a curated digital landing page or pages, providing that additional critical information, supplemental information to the end users. The term data carrier is synonymous with the ISO 19762 definition of AIDC, which is automatic identification data capture technologies, barcodes, smart cards, radio frequency, etc. Next slide, please. All right, so you know, why the expected outcomes can only be achieved through an IHI joint undertaking action. The digital label is an innovative concept, you know, offering benefits to all healthcare stakeholders and society at large. Currently, there is not a regulatory basis for medical technology industry anywhere in the world to enable, you know, a digital label. Therefore, it is a need to test this concept with users to gather the evidence, you know, for greater, you know, regulatory decision making and building, you know, regulators and end users trust as a basis for a common, you know, universal standard and accompanying, you know, policy recommendations. This approach of providing information digitally will therefore need all stakeholders, you know, industry, healthcare institutions, academia, healthcare professionals, patients, researchers, etc. With the basis on health literacy, with the regulators, national competent authorities, notified bodies, all working together on and building a neutral framework for a sustainable, user-centered healthcare information delivery in the European Union to ensure, regulatory acceptance. The added, value as to why the digital label for medtech is based on user needs and input from all stakeholders. It ensures, a usable, fit for purpose is the ultimate goal of a digital label for all stakeholders and being aligned within that concept. Next slide, please. So also, what the idea is that, many medical technology products are decreasing in physical size, packaging reduction, etc. Mandatory requirements for additional product compliance markings, economic operator information, and other documents and information is growing while there's pressure on the size of that printed label. The overall aim of this topic is to establish that consensus-based digital label concept applicable to all types of classes of medical devices and IVDs, making use of existing, technologies, cloud-based platforms that will further improve to suit the medical technology products specifically. Next slide, please. So also expected outcomes. The outcome, in essence, is a manifestation of the work that will be performed within this program. Enabling a risk-based approach on data elements of the label and what must still remain printed and what will be provided digitally to build that consensus-based digital label concept framework for medical devices and IVDs. To be available and used by manufacturers to meet the end user's requirements and addressing regulators' demands and policies. The multiple valid and scalable digital solution is based on a standardized approach. Okay, all work will be performed within the same enabler, and such as a smart device for all medical technology product labels serve as an up-to-date single point of access for information, for a specific device. Imagine a healthcare practitioner end user has a product in their possession, and by scanning a data carrier, having that information as curated specifically to the device that's in their possession. Also, the interoperable aspects within other European legislation, such as digital product passport, national legislation, enhancing the ability to provide language requirements for all data elements and documents, and then considering accepted international standards. There is some standards that are suggesting that this could be used currently, for the data carriers. Also, making sure that the data, the end results of the program are acceptable after verification, user acceptance via user testing, to ensure that it meets the user needs. Next slide, please. All right. Other expected outcomes, the evidence-based recommendations, to inform European Commission, national competent authorities on policy recommendations, providing training materials on digital labels and that are available to end users, such as the healthcare practitioners and even patients, regulators, national competent authorities, notified bodies, and EU member states. The basis for a future international acceptance is created via the documentation gathered, for the proposal for the new digital label standard, adaptation of existing standards under ISO or IEC. Currently, for example, ISO 20417 already has a segue within a specific clause on providing digital information that could be expanded upon to help enable a standardized approach. And in awareness raising with other international jurisdictions, health authorities that are considering digital label initiatives. Next slide, please. All right. The expected impact, providing that key information as well as additional information that's easily more visible, accessible, and identifiable, to healthcare providers and patients. Health authorities equipped with simple smart device, a phone or tablet, being able to scan and access, digital information of a specific healthcare product. The significant reduction of carbon footprint and avoidance of over-labeling, additional labels that are applied for language, etc., thereby contributing to the European Green Deal, and also the improved accessibility of information for users and regulators, on-demand information specific to a specific product. All that information that the users might need is available in one place in the language of choice, thus increasing equal access to users to medical technologies. Increased alignment with MDR, IVDR, and other EU and national legislations. Increased competitiveness within the European market, thanks to largely the improved supply management and streamlined packaging and label operations that would facilitate this. Next slide, please. And then as far as the expected contributions of industry in the consortium, the composition of the industry consortium, based on expertise, resources, and activities, there would be a wide array of expected resources, to potentially mobilize and deliver the expected outcomes, such as project management, healthcare medical device engineering, design, legal patient literacy, health literacy, ethical social science, and medical device regulatory and compliance resources as well, to generate the metrics-based data, to support this initiative, and then frame historical data as well to help facilitate the growth of this initiative. Next slide, please. So, and then also the pre-defined industry consortium, expects to contribute to the IHI joint undertaking project by providing, the other expertise and assets, provision IT infrastructure, IT expertise, expertise in labeling, regulatory affairs and intelligence, clinical research, marketing, communication, supply chain management, project management, and also crucial is the usability engineering, the comprehension of, accessing, a data carrier that facilitates the digital label. Next slide, please. Great. Other key facts, as far as the budget, the way that it's in current draft, maximum financial contribution from the IHI joint undertaking is up to roughly 3.8 million euros. The indicative in-kind contribution from industry beneficiaries is roughly 6 million euros. Due to the global nature of participating industry partners, it's anticipated that some of the contributions will be in-kind operational activities from other countries that are neither part of the EU or associated with the European or Horizon Europe program, but by virtue of providing additional insight into standardized approaches, could also be included. The duration currently with this proposal is roughly 36 months, somewhat aggressive, but it's indicative only. As in the second stage, the consortium selected at the first stage and the predefined industry consortium may jointly agree on a different duration in submitting within the full proposal. And I believe that might be it. Next slide. All right. Any questions or comments?
Thank you. Thank you, Roger. We agreed that the question would be replied at the end. We will have a Q&A session, so you can write in the chat. As my colleague said, we will reply afterwards. I will continue with my presentation. Okay, so I will present the proposal submission and the evaluation, just to give an overview of what is expected from your side once the call will be launched, which in theory will be next week. So please stay tuned and check on our website. Afterwards, you will have the possibility to have the online system open. You can download the proposal template, which contains Part A, Part B, and annexes. The Part A is of the proposal is the administrative data that is entered in the web form through the funding and tender portal. The Part B of the proposal is the narrative part that includes 3 sections: the excellence, the impact, the quality and efficiency of the implementation. Keep in mind that this is the first part, so the first stage of 2 stages call. So the proposal length, the Part B is only 20 pages. So read instruction in the proposal template very carefully, because not everything will be requested to be described in details now at this stage. So it's important to keep in the 20 pages only the most important information that are requested at this time. And then you will have as an annex the participant types. The evaluation criteria, as I said before, the panel of experts will assess all the proposals submitted against 3 different criteria: the excellence, impact, and implementation. They will assess the clarity and pertinence of the proposal objectives and the extent to which the proposed work is ambitious and goes beyond the state of the art, and also the soundness of the proposed methodology. Regarding the impact, they will assess the credibility of the pathways to achieve the expected outcome and impact specified in the call text. That's why it's very important that you read carefully the call text, and the likely scale and significance of the contribution due to the proposal. For the implementation, they will assess the quality and effectiveness of the outline of the work plan and the capacity and role of each participant and the extent to which the consortium as a whole brings together the necessary expertise. Some tips for applicants, just to keep in mind before going to this point. Roger before mentioned the complementarity, so some skills, some expertise, some resources. So the applicant consortium needs to be complementary to the industry consortium. So it's very important that you read the topic text and you are complementary on what the industry will bring on board in the proposal. Because although you will meet them in case you will be selected to join the full consortium in the second stage, to merge with the pre-identified industry consortium in the second stage, you have to keep in mind this collaboration from the very beginning. That's why it's important that you read the call relevant material, specifically the topic text. Here is the link, and the topic 1 on the digital label is between page 13 and 18. And then you have other links to keep informed on our future call and the open calls. Then, as I said, you need to form the consortium early. Think already to the private-public partnership, as mentioned just before, because it's important that the complementary is there, that the collaboration is there, that the role of the industries in your short proposal is already there, evident. and ensure that all the information requested in the call text and proposal template is provided to allow the panel of experts to easily assess your proposal against the evaluation criteria. And again, keep in mind that the information requested the first stage are written in our in the guidelines, in the proposal template, and some of them do need to be fully elaborated, as indeed would be when you will prepare the full proposal. Consider also and plan for the potential regulatory impact of your results. Here is some links in case you need to build or to join a consortium. You can use the EU Funding and Tender Portal Partner Search Tool, or you can get in touch with the IHI National Contact Point in case of suggestion from their side. They can really guide you through the process, or network on social media. And here is the link of our LinkedIn. So thank you for your attention. I give the floor to Nassima, to my colleague.
Thank you, Angelica. Thank you, Roger, for your presentation. So before we move on to the Q&A session, and I also encourage you to drop your question on the Q&A function, because this is your only opportunity to get the information directly from the topic writer. So I would like to promote the different sessions that we are holding for call 9 and 10. Here you can see the schedule. So we have 2 webinars this week, and we have 4 webinars next week. So if you haven't registered yet, please do so on the IHI website. You just have to go to the event tab, and then you'll find all the information and the registration link as well. So now we can move to the Q&A session. So the first question is, can large industrial organizations participate as their input may be important? So I don't know who wants to take this one.
So in terms of IHI projects,
Desmond, I don't think we hear you. You need to unmute yourself. Yeah, thank you.
the rule here, in keeping with Horizon Europe generally, is that any organization is welcome to participate. So a very large organization is, of course, welcome to participate in the applicant consortium. However, depending upon the annual income of that organization may or may not be eligible for funding. So the general rule is, if you have an organization which has a significantly large annual turnover, then that could affect whether they're eligible for funding. So what we would do is we would refer the querist to our rules and procedures webinar next week, where we'll talk about these matters in detail, and we should be able to deal with any particular queries there.
Thank you, Desmond. The next one is, do the terms of the competition assume a financial contribution from consortium members?
No, for the stage 2 calls, which is what we're talking about here, the consortium members themselves, if we talk about those consortium members in terms of the applicant consortium, they are not required to make any contribution, because the applicant consortia, as Angelica went into in some detail, the first round is essentially competitive, but the in-kind and the financial contributions are provided by the predefined industry consortium that's identified in the topic text. So really, the applicant consortium, what you're really doing is you're putting together an excellent short proposal, which basically addresses the challenges in the topic text. And then that winning applicant consortium then, as Angelica again said, merges with the predefined industry consortium, and it's that predefined industry consortium that takes responsibility for the in-kind and any relevant financial contributions.
Thank you, Desmond. The next question is an attendee writing to us and wants to know, if I understand correctly, the e-label should already exist and will be tested by users. New e-labels are excluded, question mark?
I can answer that. So the idea is to enable a digital label for any medical device, IVD product, healthcare product, and it's based on existing technologies that are currently available. It is simply to leverage them and to enable a standardized environment and forum for a digital label. if I answered that correctly and understood the question correctly.
Thank you, Roger. And the next one is, would you have some specific readings about digital labels for IVD/MD that you could share?
IVD, as far as construct of an IVD data element, I guess we would have to come back to that. I'm not too familiar because I'm from the medical device industry, not IVD. So we would have to come back to that question.
Okay, thank you, Roger. And the next one is the application process same as Horizon Europe proposals?
I think the best thing we can say is that yes, I mean, you're using the Horizon Europe tools. The IHI projects use the corporate corporate Horizon Europe model grant agreement, and all the Horizon Europe rules apply, including the Horizon Europe rules for participation. So yes, I think the short answer is the application process would be the same.
Thank you, Desmond. And now we have a question about the presentation. So just for you to know that the presentation and the recording will be published on the IHI website this afternoon, so after the webinar. And now we have another question. According to the final call 10 text at the IHI website, it's expected that the industry consortium will provide IT infrastructure and have expertise in labeling and regulatory affairs. But according to the presentation, the applicants should provide expertise in these areas. Can you please clarify?
Yes. So again, based on our predefined proposal and also doing research on existing technologies, there is an expectation that IT professionals, both from an infrastructure and operation standpoint, would be involved in participating in helping define the final proposal. As well as the labeling, obviously, is crucial. Having a thorough understanding of the data elements that are required in a printed label to help with that risk assessment on what can be provided digitally versus printed. The expectation is that those areas of expertise would participate.
Thank you. Now we have a question regarding the languages. How many languages do you want to test the tool first with?
Oh, that's a great question. So right now, it is our understanding that in essence, there's 23 languages, 24 technically, but we know that Northern Ireland, although their official language is Gaelic, does accept English. So we're looking at 23 languages that this platform, or ultimately, the outcome would need to support.
Thank you. The next one is, are there online resources that can facilitate the establishment of new collaborations?
Can you repeat that question again?
So they are asking if there are online resources. So it's the slide that my colleagues Angelica shared with you, the tips for applicants. So you have the tending
Right.
and the tending portal, the Horizon Europe tool, and also the NCPs. I don't know, Angelica, if you want to reshare this slide, or in any case, the presentation will be shared in our website. So you have all the links there that you can follow to search for resources. And we move on to the next one. Are public research organizations eligible to receive 100% funding?
So generally, yes, but if you're asking that kind of question, I would strongly refer you to the Rules and Procedures webinar next week. The short, effective answer here is that public research organizations are generally, yes, capable of receiving 100% of their costs remunerated, so long as those costs are considered eligible costs that are incurred during the project. So to get into the detail on this, we cover this in the Rules and Procedures webinar next week, and also then in the follow-up financial webinar as well. But I think what I could say is, if you follow the rules that are laid out in the grant agreement as to what an eligible cost is, then you can expect 100% remuneration of those eligible costs.
Thank you, Desmond. The next one is digital labeling of medicines/drugs included in the call?
No. Pharmaceutical products have been excluded from this initial call. The focus is medical device and IVDs currently.
Thank you. The next one, the pre-identified industry consortium is already defined at this stage, question mark. Is it already public? Either will it be available after the first stage?
So that's actually a good question, but no, the answer is quite straightforward. When the topic text is officially published, then in the published topic text, then you will see towards the back of the document, the pre-identified industry consortium. It will clearly identify all those legal entities that are in the pre-identified industry consortium, and also the contributions that they're actually bringing. So it's very, very clear right from when the project launches, or so right from when the topic launches, as to exactly who that pre-identified industry consortium is.
Thank you, Desmond. And now we have a question. The application must be only related to the topic of this call. Are there any other topics, or currently only one topic is being considered? I assume it's for call 10, and we can say that for call 10 we have 3 topics. So today is the digital label one, and we will have 2 other webinars on the 2 other topics. If you want to have more information, you can go to our website in the open calls tab, but we will share all the links in the event page as well. I don't know if you want to add anything else, Angelica and Desmond?
Just to the question of online resources, keep in mind that on our website there is a specific page under apply for funding. Then you have to click on find partners. There is also a platform where you can see who may be interested in creating a consortium. So you may join, or you may search for partners to complete and complement your current consortium.
Thank you, Angelica. And we have a question coming in. In order for a single and harmonized approach to get information about products, will this approach focus on both data that can be pulled or pushed through the solution about the product? Question mark, for example, if IU and master data about the product for hospital system. I don't know if you want me to repeat the question.
Yes, please.
So in order for a single and harmonized approach to get information about products, will this approach focus on both data that can be pulled or pushed through the solution about the product?
Yeah, so that's a great question, actually. That's something that I think the final proposal will need to address. As far as the usability of data that might be available digitally, that can be consumed by a healthcare organization's material management system, etc. The focus right now really is on what will be provided digitally, as far as an element, a document, like an IFU or a field advisory notice, something of that nature, or just simple, catalog item, UDI, DI aspects. The focus is on identifying right now, but I think as it matures, the usability of consuming data, I think could be included.
Thank you, Roger. I don't see any other question in the Q&A box. Just to remind you and to recommend you to follow us on social media to stay up to date and to be aware of the latest news. There is another question coming in. Do you consider exploring other methods on top of traditional labeling? I mean, IT solutions that give similar results.
Yes, definitely. There are existing platforms that may be enabled, leveraged. in providing, digital content. So yes.
Thank you, Roger. I don't see any other question coming in. I think that we've addressed them all. Again, please visit the IHI website. I mean, all the information is there. So I think that we can close this webinar. So I will say thank you very much to Angelica, Roger, and Desmond for the presentation and answering the question. Thank you to all of you for your interest, and also good luck with your proposal. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a nice day.
Thank you.